welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Masego, and in this video we are discussing the introduction to fare calculation for travel services N4. So we can use this same principles for N4 and N5. If you find this video helpful, please give it a huge thumbs up, click the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and share to help a fellow tourism student. Please note that this video is based on the TVET syllabus for students studying towards a national certificate in tourism. The notes, textbooks, slides, and previous question papers can be found on futuremanagers.com, which is linked in the description below. So for today, we will be going through the fare calculation template, and then we will then go through an activity, how to use an instruction or activity to know what you are going to be doing. And then on the last slide of this presentation, we have a blank answer sheet that you can screenshot and print so that you can have a template to use when you are practicing various activities. This template is used to calculate your fare quotation. Now, you already know that your fare quotation is formulated using the type of passenger that you are. So are you an adult, a child, or an infant? And that is why there is a column for each calculation. So you have a column for adult charges, you have a column for child charges, and you have a column for infant charges. Then it also now goes back to your fare for that particular sector. So your fare for that particular sector is based on the class of travel that you are in. So you have to now indicate. Unfortunately, my template doesn't have that little column for that, but there are other tables that will have the column for the class of travel, right? So then it will say something like JNB, CPT, SA, Y. So the Y will be for that class of travel. So then it also will be dependent on the carrier. So the column that comes before the adult is now the carrier. The carrier is which airline are you going to be using. In travel services, we usually see 3 different airlines, being SAA, British Airways, and Central Airlines. However, for now, we are going to just be using SAA and British Airways. Then you have the first column now, the one that's written from to. In this column, we will be writing out the route. So what is a route? A route is now where are you coming from, where are you going, and so on and so forth. So from the departure to the destination and everything in between, right? So here on this slide, the route is indicated as JNB, which is Johannesburg, Cape Town, CPT, and then JNB again. So this is a return ticket going Johannesburg, Cape Town, Johannesburg. So if we take a closer look, the first 2 boxes are written Johannesburg, Cape Town, and then next to Johannesburg, Cape Town, next to Cape Town, the next box in the carrier is written SA. So this now indicates to us, this tells us a story for what our client is going to be doing, right? The only thing that is missing there is the class. So usually if you go back to your N4 textbook and N5 textbook, you will notice that some of the templates do have space for the class of travel. So it does those three boxes, and that whole row for that is next to from SAA, right? So the third row starts with Cape Town, SAA, and everything going to the right of the template is then going to be your first sector. So a sector is that departure, the first departure point to the first departure point to the first arrival point, and then the carrier, the class, and the amount of money that you are going to be paying in that sector. Now, this information can be found in your fare handouts. There is a video for how to use the fare handouts. So I will link it down below for you so that you can go and then use the fare handouts with this information for you to be able to complete the activity. Now, there will be then Johannesburg to Cape Town on SAA, and then the class of travel. Then your class of travel will then lead us to the last thing, which is the amount that you are going to be charging for that particular person. So that amount is also based on what? The three boxes. If the person is an adult, it's a child, or an infant. So obviously, if the person is an adult and you're charging them 800, in the box next to SA, you will write 800, right? In this box, you will write 800. And then the next, in this box, you will write 800, excuse me. And then the next sector then will be departing from Cape Town. So this now becomes your sector. Cape Town becomes your point of attention, right? So you then say from Cape Town to Johannesburg using British Airways. That's your second sector. So even though there's like three boxes there, you have two sectors, because it's indicating that this person is going to be paying for the first flight departing Johannesburg, Cape Town, and then will leave Cape Town and go to Johannesburg. Then you will write then the answer in this box to say, okay, I'm charging this adult, say 500 rand, and then after determining how much each sector is going to be charged at, say they are going to be charged 500 rand from coming from Johannesburg to Cape Town, and 500 rand from coming from Cape Town to Johannesburg. The total is 1,000 rand, and you're going to write it in this box here at the bottom, written fare. Now we know that this person is going to be paying 1,000 rand in their fare. Then you have a rounded fare. Now this part of the calculation then requires you to also go into your fare handout to go look in the section written taxes, right? So you will then go and say, write 1,000 rand under fare, and then under rounded fare, you are also going to be writing 1,000 rand. But should you have an unrounded figure, you need to then write it rounded up to the nearest 10 rand. So if you have your fare sitting at 555 rand, you will round it up to 560, because we are rounding up to the nearest 10 rand. Then from there you will calculate your VAT. To calculate VAT is sitting at 15%. So you will then have to calculate your VAT 15% of the rounded fare of 560, and then write it in this box. Then you have your PSC. okay, before we continue with that, you are going to write that 15% amount with the code ZV. Then you will go then to your PSC. This is the PSC box. PSC is a tax that is charged for each city you are departing from. From each city that you are departing from, you will charge PSC, and you will then go into your handout again for your various taxes and use those handouts to advise you how much PSC you are going to be charging per city. So each city has its own tax allocated. Like JNB is 52, Durban is 48, Cape Town is 48, and then if you have to add all of those cities up, you do that. So you will identify in your route how many cities are you departing from, and then add up those taxes from those cities and tell us the entire amount. So in this case, you have JNB at 52 Rand, and then you have Cape Town at 52 Rand. That then is 104. So your PSC in this box is going to be 104. Please note that these are merely examples. These are not accurate figures. The figures that are accurate are the ones that you see in your fair handouts. Then you have your SC tax, which is charged per departure. Per departure. So in as much as we are charging that one for the departure from each city, in this one you're going to be charging per departure. So you're not going to be charging per city, you're going to be charging per departure, and it is the same amount for all departures, which is 6 Rand. So you will then, if you have 2 departures, you will simply say 6 Rand times 2 departures, and then you identify your departures. How? You look at your route. The first departure point is Johannesburg, the second departure point is Cape Town. We don't count the third Johannesburg because we are not going to be departing from there. That's the end destination. So you don't charge there because you are not departing from there. You only departed on the first one. Then you know that SC is 12 Rand. Then you then have to add your the tax for each airline that you are going to be using. So each airline has their own airport tax. So you find that YR is SAA. SAA is you charge the YR tax, and then for British Airways you charge the YQ tax. You also have the third airline that is not included in this session, Central Airlines, that is also YR. So in cases where you are given Central Airlines and SAA, you will calculate both of them under YR. Then from there you add up all the figures, all the amounts that are written in that box. You add them up, and then after adding them up, you write down your total in this box. Once this is done, you now have to do the same process for the child and the infant. Now, when you come into doing the same process for the child and the infant, you will have to go into your fair handout rules section so that you can see the rules that govern that fair. So for example, child and infant usually have children and infants usually have discounts. So children usually have a 67% discount on their flight. On the adult fare, if you're traveling with a child, you will have a 67%. No, you will only charge 67% for that flight, and then or for that seat. And then if the adult is traveling with an infant with no seat, they will pay 10% of that price. So that's important for you to please note that, and it's something that is going to be recurring in the various activities that we are going to be doing. So then you will write the infant charges in that box. Then you are done writing up. You continue with the same process for the rounded fare, VAT, PSC, and the taxes. Each one is going to be different, so you're going to have to individually calculate it. But with time, as you get used to doing these activities and you keep on practicing, you will be able to see shortcuts and tools that will help you calculate your fares quicker and with more accuracy. So the next thing that I want us to look at is how to read a question. So how to translate the information that is in question form to your template. So when you look at this slide, you see a scenario. It says you work for pleasure travel in Durban, IATA number whatever. Today is okay. I'm not gonna say whatever. So I'm gonna start. You work for pleasure travel in Durban, IATA number 77235467. Today is 13 September 2019. Mrs. Andrea van Rensburg and her daughters, Mia, who is 10 years old, and Celeste, who is 14 months old, come to your office. They would like to make the following booking. Then you have a flight schedule given to you. At this point, we're assuming that you already know how to read a flight schedule, so I'm not going to go into deep detail on the flight schedule. I will just highlight the information that is necessary for this part of the fare calculation, and then I will create another video for how to read the flight schedule. This will be linked under travel services N4. So here, the first line there, number one, you have your flight number, you have your class indicated as Y, you have the date 06 October, and then you have the route that you are going to be traveling on, Durban to Johannesburg. And then on the next line, you have another flight number, British Airways Class B, 10 October, Johannesburg to Cape Town. And then SAA Class Y, Cape Town, Bloemfontein, so on and so forth. Now, this information is then translated into becoming a route. So Durban to Joburg will go into the route part of your handout in this section, from to. You have to now write it out from point to point, right? Then it goes, then you have to indicate which airline they used. Your flight number BA142 tells you that you are going to be using British Airways. The third and fourth flight number, SAA SA 08001, indicates that you are going to be using SAA. So, and then right next to that is your class. So now you know to go into your fare handout and look for that fare, Durban to Joburg, British Airways Class why. Then it will tell you how much it is. Joburg, Cape Town, British Airways, Class B. It will tell you how much to look at, how much to charge, and then from there you continue on doing your fare calculation until you add the taxes and do your total. And we have come to the end of this session. Please feel free to screenshot this page so you can use it to complete your other tasks. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. If you have questions, also write them in the comment section. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. Till the next session, bye guys.